Okay, guys, so this is my good friend, my client Luke. This is our interview together. So let's get right into it. I mean, who is Luke Miller and what was your transformation?
My name is Luke. I am 34 years old. I am a lawyer in Houston, Texas. And my whole story is that I've always been really interested in fitness ever since I was a kid. And I really started lifting seriously around 22 years old, right after I graduated college. I just sort of got inspired by like the Ziz, the David Lade, the
Yeah,
Jeff
me too.
Sides, the
Hell yeah.
the oh god, Connor Murphy, all that stuff.
Yeah, the
Uh,
shirtless pranks. Those what got me
God,
back in the day.
right. And so I just was inspired by that, and I was just religious about the gym for 4 years, and then when law school hit around 26, I just quit cold turkey. I just was focused on school, and then it's been kind of just a struggle to get back on and off, in and out. I have my up times, I have my down times, and I just have been struggling with like the consistency of it all and making sure it's something sustainable, something that I can do for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah, because you were in the past, I think before, like on our very first call, you were talking about how you lost weight or went through a pretty good transformation prior, but like you were doing it through like a very unsustainable way. You were eating like what was it, like fish and
That's
asparagus, or what was that all like?
that's exactly right. So back in 2023, I went through a really messy breakup, and right when that relationship ended, I looked around and I said, "You've gained 50 pounds. You need to lose this." I named the gut after my ex, and I was like, "You need to lose this weight."
That's a
And
good.
let me tell you, that's a really great motivator. But
Yeah.
yeah, I lost like 40 pounds in about 6 months, but I did it just with like chicken and broccoli, chicken and rice, nothing but salads, and working out twice a day, doing a bunch of cardio, and it worked. But it wasn't something I could do forever, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't sustainable by any means.
Yeah, for sure. And during this period of time, you were a full-time lawyer, right?
That's right. Yeah, I've been practicing law since 2020, so I've been doing it for about almost 5 years now.
Wow.
And so during that, during both the relationship and the breakup, I was litigating full time.
Oh my God. So walk me through like what was that kind of like when you were doing that like very restrictive, I guess honestly, like on almost like crash diet while trying to practice law, like how did that really affect your like productivity and like your mental performance at work?
It really affected my productivity negatively. I'd say that the crash diet, when you're on so few calories and you're burning so many calories, your brain fogs up immediately. It's one of the first things to go. And because you don't have a lot of energy mentally and or
Hmm.
even physically, because you're starving yourself, for God's sake.
Yeah.
My work suffered, my personal life suffered. It just all, and I, was so laser focused on losing the Joseph weight that it seemed fine. But in retrospect, I was just like, oh my God, you know, this was not a healthy thing for you to do.
Hmm. Yeah, and you went was that your only like create like crash diet transformation, or did you go through one other one in the past? Just that one?
Uh, I mean, I went through a bunch of crash diets in the
Yeah.
past. I've tried literally everything you can think of: keto, intermittent fasting, paleo, etc. And I've done other coaches in the past as well, and they've had me
Hmm.
on, as you said, the fish and asparagus diet,
Yeah.
which was also not sustainable.
Yeah.
And uh, so, whatever you can think of, and whatever solution you can think of, I have tried it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I feel like I mean I've never really done that in a crash diet to that extent, but I've definitely done some crash diets in my experience and or in my
Yeah.
yeah, in my past and like dude, I just feel horrible throughout the entire time, just like extreme brain fog. I remember one point like a couple years ago, like it was so bad I would just randomly cry like for no reason. Like
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I was like,
I
what is wrong with
remember,
me? Like I look in the mirror, I'm like, ah, I just look horrible. But even though I was like look fine, like
right. Yeah.
so
Body dysmorphia is a real
dude,
thing. It's an
yeah.
absolute bitch.
Yeah.
I remember very clearly I was in court once, and the judge was like, what's the solution here? And I said, well, I can't really think of anything to do.
Yeah. Wait, literally in court, you had a
Oh,
brain
yeah.
fart like that bad?
Oh, yeah. It's
Oh
awful.
God. Yeah, That's
And
tough.
you're
Did you end up
and in
losing the
court you're
case?
supposed no, no, we won the case because
Okay.
I'm
I
good
mean,
at
go
what I fucking
figure.
do.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
but you know, it's you're supposed to be so prepared and know exactly what to say in court, and so to not
Mhm.
have that was just embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I can imagine this all the jury looking at you, uh the judge, and you're just like, what do I do?
Yeah,
Like, okay, it's probably time to not
thankfully,
do this diet anymore if it's impacting my
yeah,
work this much. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and even then, I was like, well, it's worth it. This is just what happens when you do the diet, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You just thought it was part of
it's
the process, huh? Like just you had to go through it in order to get there, huh?
right, yeah. And
Yeah.
every crash diet, every crash cut that I've gone through beforehand was the same way. You know, it was
Yeah.
just restrictions and starving, and so like, yeah, it's gonna be fucking miserable and it's gonna fucking suck, but that's just what happens when you're losing a bunch of weight. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
ta-da!
I mean, it's never going to be easy to say, but there are a lot of ways to kind of go about it to make it a lot more sustainable, a lot more, have a lot more like flexible, balanced routine to, of
Yeah,
course, not
definitely.
only make the transformation, but also be able to maintain it and improve upon it over time, of course.
Just the sustainability thing is really the key because
Hmm.
I think a lot of people. I'm not gonna generalize with a broad brush and say that nobody can lose weight, because everyone can lose weight. And I think everyone has tried and can get muster the willpower for a few months to get through a crash diet like that. Like
Yeah.
that's something that literally every single human being has the capacity and ability to do. But
Yeah.
where people fall short is making it last,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Cause like, where do you go from that? Like, once you, like, say you're eating like 1,400 calories for 2 months straight, yes, you lose the weight, but do you want to continue to eat 1,400 calories for the rest of your life to maintain the results you made?
Right, right,
Probably
right. And
not.
like super similarly, like my father's side is kind of has a predisposition towards obesity, and so my one of my cousins actually got the lap band surgery, the gastric bypass,
Hmm.
and she lost like I think 175 pounds in like less than a year,
Wow.
and she's gained it all back just because once you people who eat a certain way, they just don't know how to not eat that way,
Right.
even if they're physiologically incapable of doing that.
Yeah. 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 Because she never built up, she never established the routine or habits to really keep the weight off. She just really kind of found, I mean, a quick fix. Because what that does essentially, that surgery is it shrinks your stomach. But then when you go back to eating just as you do, just over time, your stomach's going to expand again and you're going to end up right back to square one. Not only
That's
did you
exactly
waste a
it.
lot of time, but also a lot of money doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm not going to say that she cheated or that it's a quick fix because it is. It's expensive and it's
Yeah.
the recovery is hard and
Yeah.
I have a coworker who's doing the recovery right now and it's
Mm,
all liquid diet, all pureed diet for like
mm.
a month. So like there's a lot that goes into it. I'm not going to fault her for trying the surgery to see because she had also tried every diet
Okay.
in the
Gotcha.
world and just has not found the way to sustain it. So I'm not gonna, rag on people for doing that kind of surgery. I mean, hell, I tried Ozempic for God's sake.
What? Oh, yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, whatever tools that you're trying to utilize, they're absolutely fine to me. But
Yeah.
you have to be realistic about how it's going to impact you, and you have to be, understand that this is going to drastically change your way of life sometimes.
Right. Yeah. By quick fix, I kind of meant like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if quick fix was the right word. I more so mean that like the habits and routine should have been established in the process of the recovery, I would say,
That's
in order
exactly
to
it.
make it
Yeah,
work. Yeah.
that's
But
exactly right.
yeah, I think that's where a lot of people kind of make that mistake. They again just don't establish the routine and habits, which at the end of the day, the routine and habits are literally everything with fitness, because fitness is not a fad. It's something that you do for the rest of your life, unless you're doing, I don't know, unless you just want to get in shape one time for summer and call it good. But I don't know.
Right,
I don't
right,
know
right.
about you, Earl. Well, I know like you want to keep your results. You want to maintain a good body. I mean, most 99%
Absolutely.
of people do.
Definitely. I definitely want to maintain a good body. And,
Yeah.
beyond that, there's kind of the cliche that um, gym is, like a 1 hour workout is 4% of your day. But what really matters is the other 96%. How
Right.
do you sleep? How do you eat? What do you do?
Facts.
It's your habits that make you who you are.
Right.
So yeah, you go to the gym. That's awesome. That's fantastic. That's what you need to be doing. But it
Hmm.
is so little of what the actual journey is about.
Right.
It's how you fuel yourself. It's how you let
Yeah.
yourself rest.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of journey, so let's kind of go back to your specific journey and transformation. So when you like when you first came to me a few months ago, I guess where were you at as far as I guess let's kind of just so overall, like what was the transformation we had over the last few months? Like where were you? Like what was your weight? What was your body composition versus where it is now?
So at the time that I came on to work with you, I was about 210 pounds. And I believe I'm like 5'9", 5'10",
Hmm.
somewhere in that. I will give myself the extra inch and say I'm 5'10", right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I was about 210 pounds, and I had actually been working with a local personal trainer, the owner of my gym, for a few months at this point. But what was frustrating for me was that he was great with the in person, the gym sessions. He was fantastic, great with form,
Hmm.
great with intensity, that sort of thing. But whenever I asked him for nutrition help, he was just like, "Yeah, like eat Greek yogurt. What, you're not doing, like, you're not losing weight? I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
Eat Greek yogurt, drink it, do a protein shake, you know."
yeah.
And it just, that kind of approach, although I appreciate that, like, he's not exactly the most verbose person in the world,
Hmm.
I also know that, like, I need someone breathing down my neck.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it.
Yeah,
I just need someone to tell me, hey, like, eat this. And I'm like, sure, okay, I'll eat that. And then
yeah,
I do the fucking thing. It's not that hard once, someone tells you to do it. But
yeah,
in the summer of 2024, I was actually diagnosed pre-diabetic as well, which
yeah.
I was
Right.
just
Yeah,
shocked by,
yeah.
because I like to think I take care of myself. I was in the gym. I was, with this personal trainer.
Hmm.
But to get this diagnosis of like, oh, you have to like really watch what your intake is, and you have to really take care of yourself, or like you're going to, I heard all these horror stories from my dad's side of the family about, my uncle, for example, was diabetic, and
Hmm.
he, just continued eating like shit, and he had to have his leg amputated. Then he developed an infection on the leg, and he
Oh my
died.
God.
Yeah, so it's a whole deal.
Yeah.
Uh, so,
I don't know if
but
I
so
knew
I
all
just
that. I don't know if I knew that story
no,
about your uncle. Wow.
yeah, well, he was a piece of shit. He abused my
Wow.
aunt, so like whatever.
Okay.
He,
Fair
he
enough.
kind of had it coming, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But so I remember coming to you, uh, feeling kind of frustrated with where I was, and like over the 3 months between the pre-diabetes diagnosis and like really and contacting you, being especially frustrated because I hadn't lost any weight. My body composition was still, I wouldn't say skinny fat. I had a decent, base underneath it, but I definitely was overweight.
yeah. Hmm.
And I had a gut, and I had some, facial fat, and I just really, I didn't like what I saw in the mirror.
Hmm.
People at music festivals, whenever I'd walk around without a shirt, they'd say, dad bod or whatever. And,
Yeah.
it was, they meant it as a compliment. They were trying to be nice, but, when you're trying to look a certain way, like what really did it for me was around
Yeah.
Halloween, when this guy was like, "You know what I love about your physique is that it's clear you're in the gym, but it's not the only thing you care about." And I'm like,
No,
"Oh,
dude.
oh God."
Oh man. It doesn't yeah, dude, that's the most frustrating thing when you're like putting so much work towards something and then people just see the result and assume you're not putting in all that work. That's such a like discouraging feeling.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And he meant it as the nicest possible way he could have meant it. I'm
Hmm.
I'm so sure. But those kinds of, you know, those kinds of comments, they hit hard. They
Yeah.
hit really hard, and it actually is a little worse than if someone's just outright mean to you, because you can just say, "Oh, they're a dick."
Yeah.
But if this is like your friend and they're trying to be like polite and kind, and you're just like, "Ugh, fuck."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because you they had the good intention behind, but deep down you're like, damn, that's fucked
Yeah,
up.
that's not what I want.
Yeah,
No, so
yeah.
yeah, very that. As I was going through this sort of frustration, these sorts of struggles, and also, by the way, like life before this, uh, let's just put the gym aside
Hmm.
for a second. I'm out. I'm a single guy. I'm out here trying to date, trying to find the right person. And if I'm not trying to find Mr. Right, I'm trying to find Mr. Right now.
Yeah.
And whenever I was, out being social, doing my best to, flirt or whatever, I would just get shut down, or actually more, more likely, people would just look right through me. I was
Hmm.
just a potted plant to a lot of these people. And that stings. And it happened over and over again for years. And so I just gradually just stopped leaving the house. I just didn't want to. My therapist told me once that you preferred isolation to potentially being rejected, which is
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Hmm.
And so I just kind of became what my friends called a hermit. I just didn't, go out. And when I did, people were like, wow, this is a surprise to see you.
Yeah.
And I knew that isolation wasn't mentally healthy either.
Yeah.
Because we're social creatures. We need other people,
Hmm.
right? But for me, it's like, oh, I need other people. Whenever I go out and try and interact with them, I get all these horrible negative interactions,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it's like, why bother, right?
Yeah, it kind of builds up in
So
your mind. You're just like kind of become even more critical of yourself at that point when other people are not treating you with
right,
the respect that you deserve and want, really.
exactly. So I was avoiding mirrors. I wasn't even doing laundry as much as I should have, just because why? What's the point?
Hmm.
I started looking a little more disheveled in court. Whenever I went out, uh, it was again very rare, and I was very timid
Yeah.
and very socially anxious. And so I just remember just kind of feeling sick of it at a certain point. Just going, there's all these people out here that are living their lives and they're confident and they know what they want, and they don't even, the gym is not even a huge thing for them, but it's this self-worth, this self
Hmm.
assuredness that I just don't fucking have.
Hmm.
And I because I'd spent so much time in the gym beforehand, I knew that the gym was where I'd find that.
Yeah.
And the looks aren't everything, obviously,
Hmm.
but to I knew that when I felt good in my body, I would feel good in my mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. They always
I,
go hand in
I,
hand.
yeah, I think the Latin is mens sane and corpore sano,
Hmm.
which is sound mind and sound body.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been around for centuries.
Yeah. It's like the whole concept of look good, feel good, huh?
Yeah, that's a much better way of
Yeah.
putting it. It's not my
Simpler
not
way to
my
put it,
Latin ass. Yeah, God, fucking lawyer. So yeah, I came to you supremely unconfident, overweight, um, and knowing that things needed to change and that this
Hmm.
needed to be a rest of my life thing. And I just started seeing you on my TikTok algorithm for some reason or another. I don't exactly know what brought you up, but
Yeah.
something brought you up, and I just kept seeing your content, and I was like, damn, this guy's like, he sees the vision, he knows what it's about.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
cool. And I was not even planning on hiring a coach because
Yeah.
I had hired online coaches before, and I was like, I got my local personal trainer, dude.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I don't know why I reached out to you. I did reach out to you though. I think it was like a weigh in at one point. And, oh no,
I think
that's
it was
right.
a
Sorry.
story post or something.
No, it was right after that guy said, you look like you go to the gym. It's not everything you
Yeah.
care about thing. I had followed you on Instagram. I'd seen your TikToks, and you had a story that you had an open slot for coaching.
Hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'll throw my fucking hat in the ring, see what I
Yeah.
can do. And so I filled out your coaching application, and you immediately responded. And I just remember immediately the vibe being there.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
On our first call, like I remember we had so many similarities, like me going to festivals back in the day. Like we just hit it off right off the bat. And I was like, oh, this is someone I want to work with. I can tell he's got the work ethic, he's got the right mindset, he has the right why to actually get there. He just needs a little bit more guidance, accountability, and really just at the end of the day, a sustainable approach to help him get there. So I was like, this is my guy right here. This is my guy right here. And lo and behold,
well, thank you,
we
man.
became like really good friends along the way. We text like every single
Absolutely.
day. So
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing is, the relationship between trainer and client then sometimes develops into a friendship, much like a
mhm.
lawyer client relationship develops into a friendship. And so
Yeah.
uh, I I knew that we were similar when we were going into it. I didn't realize how similar,
Yeah.
just because I'd seen your TikTok and shit, and I was like, oh, perfect. He's inspired by the same people I'm inspired
Mhm.
by. And then we had our first call, and I was like, oh fuck, like we're kind of the same person. I'm just smaller and fatter and gay.
Yeah, and then on that first
uh,
call, you're like, what'd you say? I remember you didn't sign up on the first call because you're just like, I've had, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something about like you worked with past online coaches. You're like, you had to put some thought into it a little bit. So like, of
that's
course, I
right.
completely understand. I'm not gonna try to push you over the edge or anything like that. I'll let him come to his own
Mm,
conclusion. But in the back of my head, I just knew because of how well we hit it off on the first call. I was like, we're gonna work together. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's saying yes.
And, on principle, I'm not going to, because you and I both have experience doing door to door sales.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Yeah, that's another
so,
thing.
so we know how to like pressure people into saying yes immediately.
Yeah,
And I recognize that, I, I know there's like a sense of urgency in sales. And so whenever anyone tries to sell me on anything, whether it's a service or a product or whatever, I always say, I need a second or, honestly, a night to think about it.
yeah.
And so no matter how well that call went, which it went great, let's be real.
Hmm.
I was like, I need a night to just think about this.
Yeah.
And so I remember waking up that morning and scrolling through TikTok as I was like getting ready for the gym. And as I was scrolling through TikTok, I saw one of yours, and I was actually planning on skipping that morning. I saw your TikTok, and then I was like, "Well, fuck, I'm going to the gym." And then immediately I was like, "Well, fuck, I guess I'm signing up with them."
It's destiny at that point.
Exactly, it was fate. It was
Yeah,
absolutely fate.
yeah.
So I said I'd sign up, and the rest has just been fantastic.
Yeah, dude. I mean, even just like the ways we like, because we always like text pretty much almost pretty much every single day throughout the entire process. Just like
Yep.
seeing the way and even just like on our one-on-one check-in calls, like, just seeing the different ways that you like honestly felt like seemed like you were becoming like even more confident like throughout the time. And honestly, and like I remember like every couple of weeks of like, dude, your face is getting leaner, your face is getting leaner, like your shoulders are popping more in the calls. I remember every few weeks I'd be like, damn, okay, this guy's putting in the work. And then of course we would see the progress tracking, your weight going down, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's doing everything right. He's maintaining the constant communication. He's doing exactly what needs to be done in order to make the or get the result that he wants, and you got the result. So you mentioned that you were about 210 when we started. What
That's right.
what was your like lowest weight, like when, and what was your lowest weight? I guess, well, I'll have pictures, of course, and well, of course, all that. But what was your
Sure.
lowest weight, and how did your life compare, like, because you gave a really good context as to like kind of where you are before, but like how does your
Mhm.
life compare now compared to what it was when we first started working together?
It's a great question. So life now compared to life when we started working together is it's just radically opened up for me, man.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, from being as unconfident as I was and being as timid as I was,
Hmm.
to my lowest weight was I think 174. I
Yeah.
got to like 174.8, so I lost about 35 pounds with you over the
Hell
course
yeah.
of like 4 or 5 months,
Hell
which
yeah.
was especially like over the holidays, for God's sake,
Yeah.
like in the
Yeah.
middle of all of like the Thanksgiving and the pies and the cakes and the cookies, like to still like lose weight at that rate
Hmm.
sustainably was bananas.
Yeah. Yeah, that was honestly
uh,
impressive, like going through like
well,
the couple like the different holidays, and of course enjoying, and like you went through those holidays without not enjoying yourself, right?
that's right. Then I mean, also before I get into holidays, like I also did have those eye surgeries where I had like
Oh,
weeks where I
yeah.
actually couldn't work out.
Yeah.
So it was just all diet and cardio at that point.
Hmm.
But yeah, like to go through the holidays, yeah, I enjoyed myself on Thanksgiving. I enjoyed myself on Christmas. Who's going to turn down Nana's buckle,
Right, I know.
or or brownies or cookies or whatever. Like
Yeah.
the whole point of fitness as a lifestyle
Hmm.
is to allow yourself to enjoy your life, and sometimes moderation needs to be moderated. So
Right.
you know these holiday meals, these big events with family, friends, whatever, you can still enjoy yourself, and it's not going
Hmm.
to be the end of the world. One bad meal is not going to make you fat, just like one good meal isn't going to make you shredded.
Right.
It's about your habits, it's about your consistency, it's
Hmm.
about your effort over time.
Yeah.
So, those holiday meals, oh yeah, I pigged out. I was disgusting. It was great.
Yeah.
No
And
regrets.
it had no hindrance to your progress because like we came up with like, or I guess also like, well, I mean, not only did we like have ways to get right back on track, of course, right away, but also like I would always like you, because I remember you would step on the scale the day after, you're like, oh god, I'm up 2 pounds. But like I remember like so many times like I'd reassure you like, no, it's good, it's just water weight, get back on track, it's gonna go right back down, and it did every single
And you
time. And
were and you were absolutely right. Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing is, I knew that, but
Yeah.
you need someone to tell you these
Yeah,
things.
yeah, I know. I'm the same way. When I see the scale go up for whatever reason, I'm like, what? Come on. But I
Yeah,
just have to
Jesus
reassure
Christ.
myself about it.
Yeah, but yeah, so all that being said, just the difference between when we started and when we ended. Um, just when you look good, you feel good, right?
Yeah.
And to when I started feeling better about myself, I started investing in myself more in terms of my, overall appearance, in terms of, you know, making sure that I was in, pleated, not pleated, but God, not pleated shit, but making sure that like, my suits were, ironed and tailored
Yeah.
and shit whenever I was in court, and, making sure that my skincare was on point.
Hmm.
And, whenever, the actual, weight started dropping off, and I could see that and I could feel that, and my face was getting leaner and
Yeah.
my gut was shrinking, and I could, clothes fit me better.
Hmm.
And I started, going out more, and just the confidence that that brought me has just sorry, it's just opened my world up, man. Like I'm not the quote unquote hermit anymore,
Yeah.
and people were actually surprised that I ever was that way.
Yeah. I was too.
And
I mean, like, I
yeah,
got a glimpse of it from when we very first started, but like, I feel like because we got the results relatively quickly, like, I pretty much mostly know like you as a person, being confident, going out on a very consistent basis, going doing Luke stuff. I don't want to get into too many details, of course, but being more confident and doing what someone who is more confident in their mind and body would do, to say.
yeah.
Let the
No,
audience kind of assume or
you're
understand.
absolutely right. And like, to be fair, like that is me now as a
Yeah.
result of, the work that we've done, and what's, put me on, put me on this, confidence journey. But,
Hmm.
it really, this is the life that I've been wanting to live for actual years, like literal years. And it's stuff
Yeah.
that I've gotten into like knockdown, drag out fights with my friends over, because they're just out there being confident like I've always wanted to
Hmm.
be. And so to all of a sudden go, oh shit, like this is how it could have always been.
Yeah.
And this is it's it's a gift. It's a gift that you've given me, man. It
Thank
really
you,
is.
dude.
And
It really means
I
a lot,
just you've transformed my life in the
dude.
best possible way.
That means a lot.
I'm
Like,
it's no,
like
it's true. It really, really is.
I feel like I've been like very happy with, of course, the progress I've made with my physique, my fitness, completely transforming my life through fitness, which feels good. But having it, doing it, being able to do it for someone else and seeing how your transformation over time, seeing how it makes you feel at this point, like there's no better feeling. Like honestly, like it's so much more fulfilling seeing my clients win and go through something like this as opposed to even just me getting the results. So like, honestly, like again, I mean, I tell you this all the time. Like, dude, I am so proud of like all the work you've done and all the how consistent you've been, how transparent you've been, all the communication, dude. Like it's been phenomenal.
No, I mean, what I'm so grateful for is that you were exact. So Maya Angelou once said it: when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Hmm.
And you told me from the very beginning who you were. And it's just been a joy to see you prove that over and over and over again. Uh, I think I mentioned earlier, I've worked with online coaches before, and you are scrappy, you're hungry, you're motivated, and you have your heart in the right place. Like
Yeah,
I've worked with coaches that have been burnt out and just yeah, fuck it, like fuck
yeah.
it, my
I hear the
assist,
horror
and
stories all the time.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it's to have you be as personable and as available, because my God, do I yap.
Hey man,
Uh,
dude. Honestly, like I love our conversations. We like, especially our check-in calls, because like we get to business out of like we kind of explain, what needs to be done in that week, whatever changes need to be made to make the right progress. But then at the like the last whatever remaining time we have the call, we just shoot the shit. And dude, I love our calls so much for that very
Absolutely,
reason.
man. Same. It's
Yeah,
it's truly, I look forward to, Monday nights at like
yeah, me too.
6:45. I'm
Yeah.
just like, hell yeah, I can talk with Devin for half an hour. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I love our calls so much, dude. And
Dude,
that's
same.
that just really goes to show like I really liked having that more personal connection with all of my clients. I don't like having that, or don't like being like one of those coaches who just has people, or just like only has that coach and client relationship and like doesn't really care about like that client's actual feelings, doesn't actually want to get them to know them super well. Like I don't know, like I'm growing up, I was never really social or personable, but like honestly doing this and then again like helping people go through the transformation, seeing them transform mentally and physically,
Hmm.
like it's made me like enjoy talking to people so much more and just like getting on communicate and understand them or get to know them on a much deeper level than just the coaching.
Yeah, well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I number one, I think you're meeting people where you are,
Hmm.
right? And like these are topics, and this is field that you're passionate about and that you know a lot about. And
Yeah.
so when people come to you and they're like, "How do I navigate this?" You're like, "I fucking got you."
Yeah.
I think it's easier to be social because you're in that backdrop.
Yeah.
Uh, Number two, though, I think the kind of differentiator is that you actually do give a massive shit
Yeah.
about
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
about your clients, and you kind of it's not like you're a psychologist, and I'd never
Hmm.
ascribe that to you, but you do kind of get to the why behind why you're why fitness, right?
Right.
And when you address that root, the whole process becomes so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Because like, of course, everyone wants to get in better shape, but like, do you like? I guess what's the actual reason they want to do that? Is it just for the hell of it? Like for anyone who like has gone through a crazy transformation like yourself, like there's always been like a deep down reason why as to why you actually want to make that transformation.
Right. You have to be so sick of yourself that the pain of
Pretty
transformation
much. Yeah.
overcomes the pain of staying
Pretty
stagnant.
much. Yeah. Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm saying go out there and find ways to hate yourself, everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we all have our own insecurities. We all have our own
Absolutely.
desires on how we want to look or how we want to behave, how we want to feel.
Hmm.
And fitness is the way that has been the most impactful for me.
Yeah. Me,
So
well, honestly, like completely changed my life. Like, I mean, I've talked about it a lot, but
yeah,
yeah, like I said, man, it's been completely changed my life for the better. And hearing that, it's done that for you too, like, it's the most fulfilling feeling in the world for me. So,
yeah, 100%, man. And you deserve to feel that good, first of all,
thank you,
because you
man.
put in the work just as well as I did. You dealt with my everyday text messages on
Dude,
oh
I love
god,
them, honestly.
I gained 4 pounds. What am I doing?
No, I honestly, dude, I love our communicate our texting and just how often we talk. Because at the end of the
Right,
day, we're I'd say like we're obviously good friends. Like, I mean, we hit it off like
definitely,
pretty much right off the bat, but like
immediately.
we're honestly like really good friends at this point. Like, of course, like
Yeah,
like we
I'd
talked
agree.
about, just much beyond just client coach relationship, which is what I look
Yeah,
for at the end of the day.
of course. Yeah, I would definitely say that we're friends at this point.
Hmm.
You're in like how like you can pin a text message on Apple. You're in my top nine, so like it's easy for me to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna text Evan, see what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah, yeah, dude.
yeah, I've just been, it's rare to find someone with whom I vibe such on a bunch of different levels like
Right.
this. And so to find such a kindred spirit, and then also to benefit from like the coaching relationship that comes with it, and then to develop an actual genuine human connection and a genuine friendship
Hmm.
with it. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I have always felt relatively introverted, and I feel like
Me too.
you're kind of the same way as well.
Oh yeah.
So two introverts finding each other is bananas.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
very rare, but
yeah,
when it clicks, it clicks.
it does click, yeah, and I'll actually go so far as to say, like, this transformation with you has helped me realize that I'm actually not introverted. I just isolated myself for the purposes of, shielding myself from potential rejection, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I actually do get a lot of joy and a lot of peace, inner peace from interacting with other people.
good.
But you have to rely on yourself so much as an
Yeah,
introvert,
yeah.
and to know, and that's also true in bodybuilding and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the very few sports where it's just you versus just you.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't trying to get more points than anybody else, or
Yeah.
score the lowest thing in golf. Like, this is literally you putting forth every possible effort you can make to become the best possible version of yourself. And if you slack, only you is impacted by that. If
Yeah.
you push, only you is impacted by that.
Mm-hmm.
You are beating your own logbook. You are
Yeah.
beating your own reflection in the mirror, and that's
Yeah.
partially why I think bodybuilding calls to both of us.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because like literally rely on. I guess I mean, of course, you can get the outside help, but I'm saying like the actual work itself required is all on you.
All on you,
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Cool.
Uh,
What would you say would be well? I guess what would you say was like the biggest change, or I guess, well, yeah, what was the biggest change between what you were doing prior with your fitness versus like the stuff we implemented?
So I'll say, the biggest change for me was nutrition.
Yeah,
Again, we talked earlier about me going on this crash diet and
yeah,
just doing chicken and broccoli, the just fish and asparagus, I think is what you said.
yeah.
And that was what I was used to. But I remember very clearly in our first call together,
Hmm.
I said, number one, I need to, like, I know what to do. I just need you to tell me to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And number two, I remember saying, look, I've done the crash diets before, and I was diagnosed pre-diabetic, and so I need this to be something that I can do day in, day out for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And you were pretty much immediately like, I got you. Like, what are some, you know, whenever I filled out your like intake form, it was asking me like, what are some of my favorite foods? And so I remember listing off, all the junk food I could think of.
Yeah.
And you were like, great, like let's do, a flatbread pizza. Let's do, cream of rice that tastes like Reese's.
Yeah.
Let's do a burger. Let's do, all this like, like protein pancakes, French toast,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I remember going like, I can fuck with this. Like,
Yeah. Dude, you
I
love
can
the
fuck with
pizzas
it.
for the longest time. I remember that.
I'm still eating them. Like I ate
Yeah.
one right before this freaking call, man.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. So good. Yeah, I've uh I do like, yeah, when I first like tried that, I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta get my clients on this. This is insane."
I have to tell someone
Yeah,
about this. Yeah.
exactly. Like I felt like I just reinvented fire or something.
I mean, yeah, I've been there. I think like when you're in the kitchen and you come up with something genius, you're like, people need to know.
Yeah, I know. Especially when people are so used to eating like rice and chicken, fish and asparagus,
Mhm.
things like that, and think that that's what they need to do in order to achieve a good physique or get loose weight, get good results or whatever. Like being able to kind of have that, being able to provide people with that little bit of a shift of frame of mind that you can still have, or that you can really come up with creative alternatives for junk, quote unquote, like junk food that still hit
Yeah,
macros and calories and like be low calories, high protein. Like, dude, it's a
right.
complete game changer on so many different levels.
Absolutely. I would completely agree with that statement. It's because it doesn't feel like you're dieting.
Hmm.
And it's everyone has the mental fortitude to diet, like I said, but
Yeah.
if it doesn't feel like you're putting forth a massive effort just to
Yeah.
like choke down whatever food you're eating, it's way easier to stick
You're
to.
right. Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, not only that, like eating the like more enjoyable foods, but also just being able to know how to structure your meals and routine in a way. So like when you, because you go out on a pretty consistent basis now, which is awesome. Like just
Yeah,
knowing how to not only go out and not feel restricted when you actually go out, but also just being able to kind of structure your meals and your routine in a way to really just stay on track while you're going out. I think that's really a huge game changer with sustainability as well. Just being more flexible and more mindful with everything at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's not just going out to like the clubs, but like for example, earlier in like March and April, I actually was out of town with my boss for like 5 days on a
Yeah.
work trip for a trial out of town. And you don't have access to your meal prep stuff. You don't
Hmm.
have access to a normal gym, and so you just have to kind of adapt and find like the healthiest things you can find. And like I did I have like fish tacos? Hell yeah, I had a fish taco.
Yeah, dude. The
It was
pictures you sent me, I was like, damn, that looks
fucking
good.
dope. It was great. Uh, but just because you're on a trip or on on a business deal, it doesn't mean that the work stops. It doesn't mean
Right.
that it doesn't mean that you can't. As you always would put it, you'd always say stay mindful, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
So the mindfulness of and once you get into a certain groove with it, it becomes kind of routine of like oh, okay, I'm going out, so like what's like a healthy low calorie deal I can do. And even if I'm going out drinking, it's like, all right, like two shots. Beautifully, when you stop
Yeah.
drinking, you become a lightweight. So like two shots of
Yeah, that's
vodka was
key.
all I needed, motherfucker. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people think that like when they travel or have like events coming up, even if they're traveling for a long period of time, like, oh, time to throw my goals out the window, nothing I can do. But there's always something like you can do. Maybe it's not going to be in ideal circumstances, but there's always things that you can do and implement to stay on track the most as possible. And of course, and like even maybe not make as much progress, but of course not regress when things are actually dialed in and you have like a game plan going into that traveling
Absolutely.
situation prior. Like that's a huge game changer.
Yeah, huge game changer. And it's not just being mindful, it's giving yourself grace when you can't,
Right.
or don't, like over the course of that business trip, 100%. Did I have a meal where I just drank what I wanted, ate what I wanted, didn't give a shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I get back on it the next day? You bet your goddamn bippy I did.
Yeah. And did it
Like,
hurt? And did it hurt the long term progress? Not at all.
hell no, it didn't.
I
Yeah.
mean, look where you are now, and you did like, and you went out like, or had you traveled quite a bit for work.
Yeah, well, it was this one case that just was, they were requiring our in-person courtroom attendance,
Yeah.
and so we had to travel, I think, 4 or 5 times over like 2 or 3 months,
Hmm.
just to show up for like these 10-minute court dates,
Yeah. Oh my god.
which, yeah, it was great, loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Fun.
Uh, so, but it was like whenever I was doing these crash diets beforehand, and I would just get so upset if I had to go out to a restaurant and
Yeah.
I couldn't eat out of my fucking Tupperware, right?
Yeah.
And it would stress me out, and that would cause you to retain weight, and
Hmm.
it just is one of those things that kind of spirals where you're like, it almost bordered on eating disorder territory, at a
Yeah.
time where, like, if I don't know how to control my calories and know where everything's coming from, I'm just a fucking
Yeah.
so
I know. Yeah. A lot of people are in that situation right now,
100%.
or have
But
been.
yeah, and so um to just know how to keep yourself mindful, number one, and number two, give yourself grace,
Hmm.
and get back on the horse after you fall off is
Yeah.
key.
Exactly. I mean, what's this saying? You got to be being. It's better to be 90%, 100% than 100%, not your 100%, 50%. I don't know. I think you know what I'm trying to say. I can't remember the exact saying, but it's always
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like what you want to do is be 90%, 100% of the time.
yeah. Never let great be the enemy of good.
Yeah, exactly. That you said it way better than me. I was completely butchering that. Oh shit. Well,
I mean, that's my whole job, man. Yeah.
yeah. So, what would you say would be like your favorite part about working together so far?
Great question. My favorite part of working with you is just, um, I'd say, the flexibility.
Yeah.
The knowing that, yeah, I'm going out of town. I've got like a trip in a couple of weeks, and
Hmm.
like, that's totally fine. Just stay mindful. You know how to do things, instead of going like, well, bring your Tupperware, bring your food
Yeah.
scale. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, to know that I can, not be perfect, and I'll still make progress. I'll still do what I can. Uh, to give myself that kind of grace that, you help give me is, oh shit, Collins in 15
Yeah.
minutes.
That's all good.
Yeah, to give myself that kind of grace and to be given that kind of grace from a coach, is really, I'd say it's beneficial, and it's what helped keep me going and keep this sustainable.
Hmm.
Uh, so, number one, the flexibility. Number two, like, you're a cool guy, man. Like,
My
it's
guy, I
just
appreciate you, man.
fun to work with you.
My guy.
Uh,
Thank you, dude. I mean, same goes to you, honestly. Like as I mentioned, like we're homies now. We hit it off right off the bat, so like it goes
yeah,
both ways.
yeah, Wolfpack for life, man. I got you.
Hell yeah. Hell
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, my favorite part about working with you is just, you keep it positive, you keep it upbeat, you let it be flexible when it needs to be flexible, but we still get our shit fucking handled,
Right. Yeah.
and we have a great time doing it. So it's
Right.
just been
Yeah.
all those things in one. I'd say that.
Yep. We get the business done or the important stuff done out of the way first, then we shoot the shit.
Damn right, yeah.
Yeah, even through our text message, like you're like, I got this going on. Like, what should I do? I'll do that, and then we'll just like start looking like we'll basically have like three conversations going on at once, like quoting
Right,
each
yeah,
message.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're just like, I remember just like, yeah, I think that my dad never really loved me. And then another conversation, like, bees chorger, like, I don't know, like, fuck.
Yeah. I know the conversation will be like completely opposite. Like one will be like about something super deep and serious, and then
Gee,
something
like,
else will be about
meaningful, yeah.
yeah, just
And
I don't
then the
know,
other
just
thing
something
is like about
completely
some
dumb.
stupid bullshit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit, dude. I mean, that's just really both of our personalities. I feel like where we, of course, always get stuff done first, but then like we like to have a good time at the end of the day. Like just communicate and
Yeah,
do everything. Like
okay,
just have a
of
good
course.
time.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I work at this law firm where my boss is a very similar mindset, and we,
Hmm.
yeah, we get our business done, we handle our shit, but like, we joke around the whole time.
Yeah.
And at my previous firm, these guys were so no nonsense and so just, we're here to work, we're here to blah, blah, blah. And I just remember hating that environment. And here I'm much more productive
Yeah.
because I'm given the opportunity to be a goof.
Yeah.
And in the same way with my physical transformation with you is just, we shoot the shit, but because there's that levity to it, because there's that camaraderie to it, it's way, way more beneficial. It's way more enjoyable.
Yeah. You can be yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You can
Yeah.
be yourself.
Yeah. And that's a huge game changer. I feel like, of course, like me, like when I talk to so many different people like on a pretty consistent basis, and just me being able to be myself with, of course, you and all my other clients too, is just something that makes what I do so enjoyable, so much more fulfilling. Because, if I felt like I had to put on a face for everyone, like it would just be way too exhausting, wouldn't be enjoyable. So like, again, just having that like personal connection and being myself has just made everything so much more enjoyable.
And so we're all just, I think, aching for genuineness and
Right.
authenticity. And
Yeah.
so to have that with you is just immeasurable, the benefits.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Likewise, man. Likewise. Call's wrapping up. So, last question. So, what advice? So, let's just say like someone in the audience right now is like on the fence about working with me. Like, what would you tell them? Like, what sort of advice would you give?
So I'd first tell you, I'd want to know why they were hesitant, right? Because
Hmm.
like whenever I was selling windows door to door, our first question would basically establish whether someone was in the market for you or not.
Yeah.
So you have to, much like you getting to the bullshit, much like you getting to the root of the why for someone's fitness journey. I think understanding why they want to hire a coach.
Hmm.
But if you're hesitant because of money, you're really affordable. If you're hesitant because uh, you're insecure, you're approachable, you're kind, you're meeting people where they are. If you're hesitant because you just have never hired a coach before, Devin's great at getting you on board and getting you in the program. If you're hesitant because you've never dieted before and you are scared about going to the gym, Devin's a great guy at making sure that you're motivated, you're positive, you're up, you're at it, you're going. Whatever hang up you might have about hiring a coach, especially if you're hesitant about not having someone there in person to make sure you're going as intensely as you could, or making sure that your form's correct. I've sent form checks to Devin. I've made sure that I beat the logbook, but he's monitoring all your progress with the weight, with the intensity, with the form, with all of it. And so there's if you're upset or scared because it's an online deal, I can just tell you it doesn't matter for a fucking second. There's no reason you shouldn't hire Devin. He's an absolutely fantastic coach. He's an absolutely fantastic human being,
Thank you.
and I am just privileged. I am privileged to be, such an early client and to have such a strong relationship with you. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Thank you, dude. I mean, I really appreciate all the kind words, and they really meant a lot. So, thank you, man. But I don't know if I think that's it. I mean, I think we covered quite a lot. We went into a lot of good details.
We
Went through your
did, yeah.
entire transformation, dude. Like you said some stuff that really made, honestly, like made my pulled my heartstrings a little bit. So, again, man, like it's been like amazing working together. Like, and I can only like you've gone through such a crazy transformation already. Like, I can only
Yeah.
imagine because we're about to start. Like, you got EDC, and then we're gonna do like a very mild, like lean bulk, dude. I can
Mhm.
only imagine what you're gonna be looking like, maintaining a very pretty much that this body composition you're at now, completely shredded, but just filling out a little bit more, adding some muscle. Like, dude,
Oh yeah.
it's gonna be insane.
I'm I mean, to kind of piggyback off of that, like, you know, I used to dread summer.
Yeah.
I straight up, I hated it
Mm-hmm.
because I would, and in the gay community, you go to these pool parties and everyone's walking around in just speedos, and there's a huge amount of pressure to have a certain body type. And
Yeah.
I never looked like that, and I
Mm-hmm.
was always, I would always kind of shrink into myself and
Yeah.
not, you know, I'd want to leave. In fact, I would leave most of those most of those parties way early.
Yeah.
And this is the first summer in a long time that I'm like, fuck yes, I am proud to just whoop, fuck my
Let's
shirt, fuck
go.
any, fuck fabric. Let's just get out there, flex on these hoes. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be a
So
new look at EDC.
you don't even know, my
Yeah,
guy.
dude, I'm so excited for you. It's gonna be so
Dude, yeah,
awesome.
it's the 10th anniversary of my first one, which I actually went to EDC as the result of like a fitness milestone when I first went.
Yeah,
And so to kind of go back for the 10th anniversary of that fitness milestone and to look the best I've ever looked and feel the best I've ever felt, there's a poetry to that.
yeah,
And, I'm excited to I'm excited to experience that.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Well, cool. I think that wraps up everything, man. Thank you so much for taking the time, going over your story, your transformation, how your life's changed, dude. Like, I think that's really gonna, honestly, like, I mean, honestly, like, it was inspiring to me, and I know for a fact it's gonna inspire other people in the audience too. So, thank you, man. I
I
appreciate
mean,
you opening up and
that's
sharing.
all I can hope for.
Yeah.
And I, whether or not, you know, I I've always like inspiring people was never my goal,
Mm-hmm.
but my God, if my ass inspires you, imagine what you can do for other people, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm a dumb donkey.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, you're a
I
lawyer, so
know,
like, come on.
I know, but if my ass can do this, your ass can do it too.
Yeah.
Anybody can, and that's the real takeaway here is if what I've done is inspiring to you, it's attainable for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is all within your grasp, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's just one TikTok away. So
Yeah, literally. I know a lot of people just don't like they want something, but they just don't have that self belief yet. And just being able to just have hearing like a transformation story like yours, and just hoping that that instills that self belief in them, I think will be such a game changer for more people than you can really realize.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that would be really incredible,
Yeah.
and I would be humbled if what I've done touches even one person. I consider it a win. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity, as I've said, and we will see. We will absolutely see.
Yes, sir. Let's keep it going. Lose.
Let's get it. Let's
Let's get
go.
jacked.